There are times you can swear that your query is correct, but you're still not getting the correct result. Probably you did a where and you're sure that this particular value is on this table, but it is giving you the wrong answer. Well, your problem might be the invisible spaces. Sometimes spaces, when they are not needed, can contribute to dirty data because the actual value in that row or in that column is not the correct value. It is maybe over by a space or reduced by a space. And trust me, it can be frustrating when you're very certain. Maybe you're writing a measure in Power BI and you're doing a filter, or you're doing it in SQL, and you're supposed to maybe get data for a particular location, and then you filter to that location. You're certain that this location is on your table, but the location is not coming up. What is happening? Spaces can deal with you if you don't know how to deal with them. So in this video, we'll be talking about trim. Trim helps you to remove leading or trailing spaces from the values in your table or in your column. So I'll show you how that works in this video and how this can be an absolute lifesaver. All right, let's get to the computer to see how this works. So let us create a query. I created the table, I think, space test. Let me write the query quickly. So I'm selecting everything from this table. You could see that I have just my city name and everything is New York, right? So you say everything is New York, everything is correct. Now, I have 5 rows. Let us select where city name equals to New York. Okay. Where city name is equal to New York, we have only 2 rows come up. Imagine this is like a data with millions and millions of rows. You cannot test what is what. It is easy to see here when we selected all that some of it looks like, okay, there is a space and it doesn't look like they start and end in the same way. But imagine you have a really heavy table and you are having this issue. Sometimes you don't even know that this is a problem until maybe your report owner or your product owner says, oh, I think this number is a little bit small. We should have more than this. Then you start looking for validations and why that number is what it is. Then you realize that, okay, my values are actually not what I think they are. So another test just to show, let's check for the length. This is another SQL function that you use on strings. So let's check for city name, the length for city name, and let's call that length, text length. So let's do this. You see that the actual number of characters for New York is 8. You have 3 letters first, the space, and then 4 letters. That is 8. But here, and here we have 9. So that means this one will not be seen as New York when you're doing your filter. Now, for it to be seen as New York, you could do something. So let's do something else. Let's select, we selected all. Let's select, let's use our trim. So say trim city name. Let's call it trimmed. So let's see what we have without the where. So we still have 8, 9, 9, 9. So now we have trimmed, but let's test for the length of this trimmed. Let's come down here and say trim the length. Let's check for the length of this. So let's run this again. So we have New York and we have been able to trim the length from 9 to 8 here because it removed both leading and trailing spaces. But there's another variation that we can use. So as for this one, the space is in between. There are double spaces. How would you correct this? I will put the answer in the comments after a week or 3 days that this video has been live. I want to see if you can think about how you would correct this. Let me give you a tip. Trim will not correct this one that has double spaces in between. How would you correct this one that has double spaces in between? All right. let's go back to our trim. So we have a variation of trim called LTrim. So LTrim helps you, it works specifically from the left, helps you to remove every space on the left. So that is like the leading space. So if I do LTrim, it will only correct the ones that add leading space, right? So, and that is still all. So I have LTrim, and I could also do RTrim. So RTrim corrects the spaces on the right. So if there was any space on the right, RTrim will help you to trim that off, and you have this. So you see that now we have 2 8s and 3 9, like we did before, 2 8s and 3 9, because actually in this case we do not have spaces on the right. But just to introduce you to LTrim or RTrim, you don't have to use just trim. If you're sure or you're certain of where your trim, of where you need to trim from, you can just use either RTrim or LTrim. But if you are not sure, you can use the normal trim that we have seen before. So your assignment, we said that you should find out how you would trim New York, number 5, the one in ID5 that has 2 spaces in between, such that if we run this query, we would have all 5 of them. I can't wait to see your answers in the comments. All right. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And if you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe to the channel. We have created this channel to share the joy of problem solving in data. And we are glad to do this with you, to share this with you, to share in your journey and in your learning experience. Turn on the notification bell so that whenever we put up another video, you will be notified and you can come to learn. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.